Australia's mainland, including the island state of Tasmania, is almost the same size as the United States, excluding Alaska and Hawaii. Mountain ranges run along the east coast from north to south, with Mount Kosciuszko at their highest point, 7,308 feet. A desert plateau occupies the western half of the continent, rising to bleak, undulating hills along the west coast. The Great Barrier Reef runs along the northeast coast from about 1,245 miles or 2,000 kilometers. Tasmania, 26,178 square miles or 67,800 square kilometers, is a small island off the southeast coast of Australia. Aboriginal Australians have lived in the continent for at least 60,000 years, developing complex hunter-gathering cultures and oral histories. The first Europeans to settle in Australia were Dutch navigators headed by Abel Tasman in 1606, who charted the western and northern coasts. They gave the continent the name New Holland but made no move to inhabit it permanently. In 1770, English captain James Cook arrived to Australia's east coast, naming it New South Wales and claiming it for the United Kingdom. Great Britain founded penal colonies in New South Wales and Tasmania in 1788 and 1825, respectively. Before discontinuing the practice in 1868, the United Kingdom and Ireland deported over 150,000 convicts to Australia. Europeans came into more intimate contact with Aboriginal Australians when they began to settle places away from the coasts. Europeans also removed land for cultivation, which had a negative impact on Aboriginal Australians' lifestyle. These factors, combined with sickness and a program in which early 1900s that forcibly separated Aboriginal children from their parents, drove the Aboriginal Australian population down from over 700,000 before European contact to just 74,000 in 1933. Western Australia 1829, Southern Australia 1836, Victoria 1851, and Queensland 1851 were the four new colonies formed in Australia in the mid-19th century. 1859. Thousands of new immigrants arrived in New South Wales and Victoria during the 1850s, helping to refocus Australia away from its penal colony roots. The colonies steadily gained self-government in the second part of the 1800s, and in 1901, they federated to form the Commonwealth of Australia. During World War I, Australia committed over 400,000 troops to Allied forces, and Australian troops played a significant part in the defeat of Japanese troops in the Pacific during World War II. In 1942, Australia cut most of its constitutional ties with the United Kingdom, and in 1951, it signed the Australia, New Zealand and United States ANZUS Treaty, which solidified its military alliance with the United States. Australia's post-war economy grew rapidly, and by the 1970s, racial regulations prohibiting most non-whites from emigrating to the country had been repealed, resulting in a significant increase in Asian immigration to the country, due in major part to economic changes implemented in the 1980s and its closeness to East and Southeast Asia. Australia has become a globally competitive advanced market economy in recent decades. Between 2010 and 2018, Australia's politics grew increasingly turbulent, with regular efforts to depose party leaders, including 5 changes of prime ministers. As a result, both main parties enacted legislation making it more difficult to depose a party head. Country's flag. The flag is blue with the flag of the UK in the upper hoist side quadrant and a large 7-pointed stars in the lower hoist side quadrant known as the Commonwealth or Federation star, representing the Federation of the Colonies of Australia in 1901. The star depicts 1 point for each of the 6 original states, and 1 representing all of Australia's internal and external territories. On the fly half is a representation of the Southern Cross constellation in white, with 1 small 5-pointed star and 4 larger 7-pointed stars. Population 25,809,973, July 2021 estimate. Australia ranks the 55th most populous country in the world. Population distribution. The population is primarily concentrated on the periphery, with the highest concentration in the east and southeast. A secondary population center is in and around Perth in the west. New South Wales has by far the largest population of the states and territories. The interior has a very sparse population. Australia is the flattest and the smallest continent in the world, and apart from Antarctica, it is the driest. Approximately 20% of Australia's landmass is comprised of the desert in the interior part, which is so dry, extremely hot, barren, and few people live in the region. The region is characterized by low annual average rainfall, while the whole of Australia has variable rainfall. Capital: Canberra. Largest cities: Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, Adelaide. Canberra, capital. 2011 estimate. Government type: federal parliamentary democracy under a constitutional monarch, a Commonwealth realm. Local currency: Australian dollar. Languages: English 72.7%, Mandarin 2.5, Arabic 1.4, Cantonese 1.2, Vietnamese 1.2, Italian 1.2, Greek 1%, others 14.8%, unspecified 6.5%, 2016 estimate. Ethnicity: English 25.9%, Australian 25.4%, Irish 7.5%, Scottish 6.4%, Italian 3.3%, German 3.2%, Chinese 3.1%, India 1.4%, Greek 1.4%, Dutch 1.2%, others 15.8%, including Australian Aboriginal 0.5%, unspecified 5.4%, 2011 estimates. Religion: Christianity over 52%, non 30.1%, Muslim 2.6%, Buddhist 2.4%, Hindu 1.9%, others 1.3%, unspecified 9.6%, 2016 estimate. Literacy rate: adult literacy rate is the percentage of people aged 15 and above who can both read and write with understanding a short, simple statement about their everyday life. Australia literacy rate for 2018 was 99%. Economic summary: GDP $1,390,790,000,000, 2019 estimate. Natural resources: alumina, coal, iron ore, copper, tin, gold, silver, uranium, nickel, tungsten, rare earth elements, mineral sands, lead, zinc, diamonds, natural gas, petroleum. Australia is the world's largest net exporter of coal, accounting for 29% of global coal exports. Top trading partners 2021: China, Japan, South Korea, India, United States, Taiwan, Singapore, New Zealand, Hong Kong, Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, United Kingdom, Germany. Climate: Australia is warm and dry. There is very little extremely cold region in Australia. Summer lasts from December to February. US-Australia relations. The year 2010 commemorates the 70th anniversary of the United States and Australia establishing diplomatic ties. When the United States and Australia declared the beginning of bilateral diplomatic ties on January 8, 1940, the United States recognized Australia. The US and Australian government declared the establishment of bilateral diplomatic ties on January 8, 1940. Richard Gardner Casey presented his credentials as Envoy Extraordinary and Minister Plenipotentiary to the United States government on March 1, 1940. Clarence E. guise presented his credentials to the Australian government as envoy, extraordinary and minister plenipotentiary on January 17, 1940. The Australian and American legation were elevated to embassy status on July 9, 1946, according to the White House. Norma J. O. Markin presented his credentials as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Australia to the United States government on September 11, 1946. Robert Butler presented his credentials as U.S. Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to the Australian government on September 25, 1946. Fascinating fact about Australia. Uluru or Ayers Rock is a gigantic red sandstone rock in Australia's Northern Territory that is sacred territory for Aborigines. People have been taking and returning chunks of sandstone for years, thinking that pilfering would bring them bad luck. Hi everyone, I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope it has been informative. If you like this video and you'd like to see more videos like this, kindly like this video, share with others, leave a comment in the comment section, and also kindly subscribe to this channel if you've not subscribed yet. Thanks for watching, have a nice day and look out for the next video.